in the straight up in the background. So that's gonna be the clean sweep here. Jason, we've got a few from the Discord here
Uh-oh.
that are coming in. Yoshi NIM from our Discord wants to know: Is Monty a start? Quickly, go.
It really depends on your other options. I think he can be started because I do think that he will probably find the end zone. So, and in a game that I'm not too worried about Green Bay doing a whole lot, they should be able to score. But again, I think he is still the lead back. So, he also hate that, but could hopefully help Gibbs.
Yeah, in this case, I'd like to know more information, like who the other options are. I don't hate putting Monty out there, but if he doesn't score, we're not happy, right?
That's
So
correct.
that's what it boils down to: is what are the other options, and are they more volume enticing
John, let me try to help
than
you because he's typing while we talk because this does happen sometimes.
Gotcha.
Other options are Eckler, Ramondre Stevenson, Mostert, pick two.
Okay, I don't know that I could start Monty over Mostert right now.
But you have to pick two, because Eckler's likely
But
out.
you're going to probably
and then
start Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah, that's
Are you?
of those group, I'm probably going to lean Mostert, who obviously is just absolutely demolishing in the touchdown department. So you can't sit him. Ramondre's role is dual faceted. So again, he's an option as both a between the tackles guy and in the reception game. So though I would lean those two over Monty. Monty would be my three there.
I'm going to go Monty and Mostert. I'm more worried about Stevenson going up against Dallas, and just that split has been awkward, and I don't like it, and I feel very uncomfortable watching the Patriots play football.
Yeah, there is some of that going on in the background. We have another one from everybody's favorite. Polo, longtime regular. Trevor Lawrence or Jordan Love?
I'm going to go Lawrence, mostly because I'm really nervous that Detroit's going to light up Love tonight.
And I'm going to go Love because I also think Detroit's going to light up Green Bay tonight, and I think that puts him in a position to throw more. He's got Christian Watson back, which operates as a deep threat, big play potential. So I'm going to chase the points that Love has been wildly efficient when it comes to touchdowns, which is not a sticky stat, and I don't want to bank everything on that. But when you add Christian Watson back into this as that spark plug, I'm going to take that over a struggling right now Trevor Lawrence, who he needs to turn it around. I need some improvement moments from Lawrence.
I also need proof. I also need proof of life. I need you to mail me a pinky. I need you to send me a finger from Trevor Lawrence because it ain't happening, and I'm shook. I just got done telling these guys before we came live on the air. I ripped Trevor Lawrence out of my lineup, and I'm playing golf on Thursday night to play the golf I'm on Ross St. Brown stack because I can, and I don't super love the matchup for golf tonight, but
Jair's potential, I think, is out too.
Jair Alexander got shut down, and that was what the tiebreaker wound up being. And John, long time of the show will know I hate playing guys on Thursday nights. Historically speaking, we have all the data in the universe that says expect down production, expect weirdness.
Oh yeah, it's not
week.
It's not my jam either. That's for sure.
Yeah, but I can't take another lackluster performance from Trevor. We saw this last year. They struggled when they had injuries. Weirdly, Zay Jones seems to make a difference. Boy, if you would have asked me that 2 years ago, I would have laughed in your face. I'd have called you a clown. And that seems to be a thing is that Zay Jones really does seem to make a difference for them just in terms of how defenses align and what they're able to do. But there is something is broken in Jacksonville right now. More so than normal Jacksonville broken. I also wanted to retouch on something because I got a weird note on the side from Ruben. I don't know if something weird happened when we started the stream, but Ruben, we clean swept it just to clarify, just to make sure it's in the ether. It's Kittle, and then William. We clean swept this one as well. It was Charbonnet, and then I'm gonna have a word with our StreamYard rep after this lovely little adventure about professionalism. And that word's going to have 4 letters in it, and it's probably going to start with F.
Fun.
It's not going to be fun, and it's not going to be funk. It's going to be similar to those words, but not those words. Jose, what up, buddy? I've seen Jose more this week than I've seen my family. It's impressive. has to start Stevenson this week. So, Jose, this is not a question. I had this conversation with you. This is not a question.
I love it.
This is a statement.
I agree.
I
Seconded.
agree as well. But if we're playing Jeopardy, I'm DQing you because this is not a question.
We agree. Good move.
We do.
Yeah.
We do agree in the background over here. Well, the Thursday night so-called game is going to kick off here in the background, and don't laugh at me, Jose. I will put you in timeout. You see how I treat Jason on here every Thursday? I put Jason. You know what? There, just to prove the point. I'm not playing.
Rude.
I
don't appreciate it.
It was wildly rude. Actually, that was completely uncalled for. That was completely.
It doesn't make it less fun. It doesn't make it less fun.
It is wildly fun. Some fool gave me control over. Some fool, John, approved my EIN number and allowed me to own a business, and I've gone mad with power ever since.
Sounds legit.
Shockingly easy to start a business, I found out. Really did not require the level of paperwork that it probably should.
Terrifying.
He does do that. Polo, I've told him 100 times he's got to stop doing that. I'm gonna get another email from Frito-Lay Corporate, and I'm not gonna protect him this time. I'm just gonna let him eat it in the background.
I'll eat whatever they send. You're the one who brought it up. Yes.
So we're done. The show's over. At John Hesterman, at FF Nerd, at Nonsense_Neil. I'm ending the show. Thank you all for everything. We could just end it because that's the YouTube Shorts, guys, right there. That's the only clip. It's gonna be right up there with the time that I was pantomiming Philip Rivers calling out the snap count for his wife at the hospital in the delivery room. Just it's the only that was the highlight of that show. That'll be the highlight of this show. I will say we did have a few other ones from the Discord, guys. So there are a couple here that we'll do. There's some weird questions on here, Jason. But we'll do the elephant. We'll do the elephant here. Watson, Goodwin, Sutton is a good one. So, and Straight Cash Homie is in the audience tonight. So I wanted to save this one and we'll do it live. I was curious what he actually decided to go with. And I have a feeling that if I fish this out here, he'll probably tell me.
I'm hoping it's Sutton because that's where I go. The opportunity he's been seeing, he's been having that big play, and it's a pretty good matchup.
What were the options again?
It was Watson tonight, Godwin, Chris Godwin, obviously, or Cortland Sutton.
I'm going to lean Sutton as well.
I also was going to lean Sutton.
Yeah, the matchup is great. He's been a red zone threat. Like, I kind of dig it.
I also dig it. And there, see, it's clairvoyancy, clairvoyancy that I knew that he'd be in the audience and wanting to get this taken care of in the background. So, Jason,
what's up?
Why don't we do your cute quarterback start of the week?
My cute. Why'd you call it cute? You don't like it?
I said quarterback, but but you hear what you want to hear as
right.
a recurring theme when I work with you.
It happened. It's Geno Smith versus the Giants. I absolutely love it. I think that he has the weapons. I'm a little nervous that Walker and Charbonnet are going to steal the touchdowns, but I do think that long touchdown is coming, and he should be able to light up the Giants pretty easily without having to worry about it too much. I do know that Pete Carroll loves that, but I just can't bring myself to get away from Smith. And as one of the people that I believe that is outside the top 12 that can make it, Smith is definitely at the top of my list.
All right, John, and just for the audience and for you, how we play this game, you have to pick to qualify as a start. You have to be outside the top 12 in the ECR, and to qualify as a sit, you'd have to be somebody within the top 12 at quarterback who you'd be willing to bench. I feel like we already know where that's going to go for a lot of people on this show, so we're just going to keep it to we'll do the start first. So Jason went with Geno Smith. So yeah, who's somebody outside the top 12 at quarterback that you'd be willing to start this week?
Let's see. Well, I mean, honestly, at tonight's game, I mean, Jordan Love, he's someone that I'm kind of, I think this is going to be a good game for him to show a little bit more growth. The options behind him are kind of, they've got their warts. So I would say that he's probably my best pick there for start that could creep up.
And believe it or not, I was actually considering talking about Jared Goff again here, but we do that enough on the show. Mine is actually Russell Wilson. It's the matchup against the Bears. They should be able to do whatever they want against the Bears. And more to the point, I don't normally go in for the narrative-based analysis of like get right game or prove a point, but you haven't won a game yet this year, and you just got embarrassed on national television by having 70 points hung on you. You're playing for your job. Everybody on that team is playing for their future careers at this point. So they need to demonstrate.
Except for Peyton.
Yes, except for Sean Payton. Everyone else. Well,
Right.
also, Sean Payton has the FU money at this point. He doesn't need to work anymore. He could ride off into the sunset, and it'll be completely fine. And Polo,
Love it.
yeah, that
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right for my life. That sounds about how my life works. The universe
Home road
continues.
splits and golf. You can't ignore home road splits and
Yeah,
golf.
that
You just
the
can't.
7 TDs is rough.
Well, also my ability to pick a quarterback in a specific league that I play in is unmatched. Do whatever the opposite is of I do in that league. I should actually publish my lineup for that league specifically.
Well, that's when you
just so
hedge
people
it and
know.
you bet against your own. Yeah, that's how you hedge it. You put Goff in there, and then you put money on one of your other quarterbacks that you
I
would have
actually
started.
been doing it. I have been.
Yeah, you just hedge it. That's win-win.
I have been doing that. And now we get to the real question. We get to the real question here. I actually was going to steer clear of asking this question directly, but they must be good. They must be incredibly incriminating. Because John is punching well below his weight class tonight. Doing this show.
Well, if you ask nicely enough, people will occasionally say yes.
Occasionally. It helps to
Okay.
have incriminating photos.
I was not coming here expecting a comment like that. So that's a ton of fun.
You got
you
got real red on that one.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, as far as the incriminating photos, we won't discuss that. We're not publicly, at least. Hit me in the DMs.
They're sealed. It was part of the conditions for allowing this to happen.
Right.
We had to agree to not release those photos, turn them back over to John's publicist, and destroy all the negatives.
And then I open the show with talking about having no pants on. So yeah, this is putting me in a spot. I'm giving myself a little. Yeah, people have an idea about me now, so that's fun.
Yeah, well, we've already spent a lot of time on this show talking about not wearing pants, opening a strip club, and incriminating photos. We are firmly on brand.
We got it.
Brand.
We got to work in a fart joke somewhere, and we're good to go.
Oh, we'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, plenty of time. All
Okay,
night.
fantastic.
That is where they are.
Okay,
It's a safe
gotta
place
be.
for me. That's all I can say.
I'm actually surprised Steve didn't come on here literally to deliver that joke in person and then
leave
without saying goodbye, and then just give you the old Irish goodbye. Just straight up
Just
leave
gone.
without saying goodbye.
Well, I thought for sure the voice of God. That's more of his move now. He doesn't want to just come in. He would hack in, say it, and then leave. Not get on camera. Nothing. Just real quick.
John and Straight Cash Homie is also correct. At some point, we will also work our way back to our PSA about not paying for Twitter and whatever that garbage is in the background. Never pay for Twitter. Jason, who's your sit of the week?
Well, I can't. I'm definitely going to be probably the most hated person here, but Justin Fields versus the Broncos. Broncos just had 70 points put up on them. I'm not trusting Fields to look any better. I do think he might look a little better, but I don't think it's going to be top 12 quarterback worthy. They really have to hope that he runs, and at this point, I don't trust the Bears, so I'm not going to do it.
All right, so for the sit, we're talking about people that are already in that top 12
top
area.
12 that would finish outside the top 12, and I can read the names to you if you
Okay,
want.
Trevor Lawrence for me in that
right.
group.
This will be
So
fast.
yeah, we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier. There's just not. some more prove it moments from Lawrence as far as the growth and development goes. He's got the weapons around him, so execute. Atlanta's defense has been kind of fun to watch. It's like chaos, but it works. Like it's not
working.
organized. Yeah, it's so.
I just hate Arthur Smith.
Yeah, I know, but
I do hate Arthur Smith. I'm well on record on this. Like,
yeah,
firmly on the record on that.
So he's someone that I'm willing to sit him until I see it.
So I also have Trevor Lawrence. I actually made this decision. And normally I hedge my bets, as John was talking about. I would actually probably put a bet down. Can't bring myself to do it. So I have some interesting stats. Lawrence right now is the QB 22 in fantasy points per game with a 15th per. He's 15th in adjusted completion rate. That is not what you thought you were getting. He's 23rd in yards per attempt. That's pathetic. It's really not what you were hoping for. And then over on the Atlanta side, Atlanta is top 5, I should say 5th lowest in yards per attempt, 8th lowest in passer rating against opposing quarterbacks, and they allow the 12th lowest fantasy points per game. That's pretty good. I mean, for a defense that I frankly didn't think much of coming into the season, that is they're punching well above their weight class at this point. And Atlanta kind of has found a weird balance of, I'm going to run the ball and I'm going to play defense. It's your father's football. Actually, it's probably more like your grandfather's football, if we're being honest. Like,
if you can control the clock with a little bit of incorporating more of the run and stuff like that, that becomes kind of an extension of the defense, because now you're controlling the flow of the game. So, and that's what they've done, and the defense has just been kind of chaos on top of the run game. So yeah, it's worked. It's different than what we're used to in the modern NFL.
It is. It's Titans-esque.
Yes.
It's a
yes.
It's, see, and now I have we've struck a chord. Trevor or CJ Stroud?
Still Stroud. But again, I've really liked Stroud and what I've seen so far, and they are throwing a lot.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with Stroud there, because they're going to be playing from behind. I mean, like, regardless. So that's why Damian Pierce has been, sucking.
Lucky last week with the touchdown.
Yeah, the touchdown. So, yeah, it's the first time I benched him in my main league. So of course he scores a touchdown. That's how that operates. Should have hedged it. So yeah, I would say in this case, I'm willing to take the role and throw Stroud out there against it's not a terrible matchup versus Pitt. I mean, you can score on Pitt. So yeah, fire him up.
I would also roll with Stroud because you're going to, I already said it before. I need a pinky. I need proof of life. You got to mail me a digit and show me that you're going to do something. And we saw this last year with Jacksonville. Really slow start, looked pathetic, and then they came on late. It's possible that happens again, but
Ridley also dropped 2 passes that should have been touchdowns last week.
That's the other stat that
true.
That's the other stat. Lawrence is like leading the league in receiver drops. That doesn't help.
Just him. Yeah, it definitely.
It's not just him.
I was gonna say, like, it's unfair to kind of lay that stat at his feet. I mean, if he put the ball where he was supposed to put it, I mean, that stat shouldn't come back to haunt him.
The more accurate way I could have messaged that is probably Jacksonville leads. The league
Jacksonville leads the league in drop
drops.
passes. Yeah.
That's probably the more fair way.
I don't mind piling on the guy until he shows some fantasy acumen, but that one's not his fault.
The stack pays off early.
There you
go. We're already there.
Prop 1, by the way. There we go.
There you go.
Florida.
There it is.
1 catch, 1 target, 35 yards. That's what
John, I don't need to explain to you how the rules for the NFL works, where we're not allowed to report on the game as it happens, because we could get ourselves into a lot of trouble actually with like the league office and crap that I don't want to deal with, frankly, that we've already kind of been through once in the past. But if my fans do it,
no, we're not that big.
No,
okay.
God, no.
Thank
no,
God.
we got a letter in the mail actually from the NFL once, and it was more like an email that said, "Hey, stop doing that. And if I cared about you more, I might actually like do something for real about it. But just stop doing it." Like we've asked for other things from the NFL in the past, and have been greeted with, "Who are you? Exactly? Like who? Okay, like, but no, we've had some interesting interactions with the NFL over the years in the past.
I don't know if it matters or not, but I'm credentialed with the NFL, so yeah, maybe I could pull some strings if need be.
We've had that conversation in the past with them as well. It's hysterical the way that conversation went in the past. We have a lot of PFF ties, is how this typically works, and that's the other people that have been like, "Hey, can you not get us in trouble with, or yourself with the league? That would be nice if you could not do that, please, and thank
I'm
you."
learning a lot about you both tonight. This is good. This is nice. We're
I'm
bonding.
an open book. I'll just tell people what they want to know. I don't operate in the shadows.
I do.
He does.
That's my
Jason
area.
does. Jason
I
does.
like the shadows.
Jason likes to operate behind closed doors. I just do everything out on Front Street because it's how I do my actual day job. Not that this isn't my actual day job. But we have gotten a lot of feedback here in the background, which is really hilarious. But yeah, that was the rule that we got lectured to, which is, well, if your fans do it, then we can't really stop that. And they also can't stop me from doing things like this. Laporte a 35-yard game on the 24 was part of that drive.
Yeah,
So I can do things like that all I want, which is hilarious.
But I still
like I
need
said,
over 4. I need over 4.
We got a lot of
receptions.
interaction on the Lawrence question here, actually. I'm trying to cherry pick them apart as we go along. Anthony Westbrook. Lawrence or Richardson?
AR,
That's
man.
tougher.
No, it's not.
No, not for me. I've got Richardson as my QB6 on the week.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So yeah, I think he comes back with a vengeance, and because, and here's part of it, is he watched Gardner Minshew play a really competitive football game and beat Baltimore with the more pocket style passing minus the mobility, which not to say Minshew isn't mobile, he very much is, but not in the same regard in which Richardson is. So I think Richardson got a taste of like, hey, I've got to make some plays out here because my backup just went out and won a game against a really good offense. So Richardson is going to come out. He's going to play hard. Like I said, I've got him aggressively at QB6. Currently, that might change by Sunday, but currently I've got him as QB6.
I am at 7. So,
funnily
right
enough, he is QB6 in the ECR as well for fantasy.
There you go.
So, in good company there. Just to put a fine point on that, I would also play Anthony Richardson. It's a little closer. I don't have him quite at 6, but he would be in the top 12. So he would be a start. He'd be higher if I was. He'll probably, let me put it this way. He'll come up in my rankings once I have for final confirmation that he's out of the protocol and everybody's happy and he's going to be starting that game.
Second week, full practice today. I know he's
should
not
be
officially
fine,
out.
but I'm waiting on paperwork. You know how it goes.
Yeah. Same.
It's just
Waddle's out.
paperwork.
So
here you go. Here's a different question that has nothing to do with Trevor Lawrence.
How about starting my mom versus the buffet? My gosh, I'm not sure I want. I mean, I can refer to my rankings here.
I have Watson higher, but man, that
joke could work in multiple levels. It's a quality joke.
Thank you. That just popped out. So that's what I do is I say stupid things.
That's rough.
I've got to go with Watson here, and it's going to largely be based on the fact that the bulk of the points he scored this season so far have been based on his ability to run, his second read reaction, his rushing ability. So that gives him a better floor. And Gardner Minshew just beat the Ravens. So I would think somebody that's prone to take off and run for 35, 40 plus yards a game. I'm going to go ahead and start him over Mac Jones versus that
Dallas.
Extremely brutal Dallas defense. So
agreed. I could not possibly bring myself to start Mac Jones against the Cowboys. I'm not crazy about having to start Watson, but Watson presents a certain amount of upside, whereas Mac Jones is only floor, and it's not a nice floor. It's not like a hardwood laminate floor. It's like an ugly vinyl floor from the 1970s.
that hunter green color.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that
hides the puke stains that have been on there since like 1986 at graduation. Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah, so I have Watson at 14 and Jones at 28. So very different. Not even close to each other.
Yeah, no.
All right, here.
Anthony has another question, so we'll knock it out real quick. Okay. Ford, Hopkins, Tank Dell, or Gabe Davis at the flex in a PPR.
Oh, this is so hard. It's really a toss-up between Ford and Dell for me. The PPR is what's making me want to lean Dell, but man, we just saw how, Ford looked good in a tough matchup. I'm curious to see how it'll look in a much easier matchup.
I'm not loving the Tennessee offense right now. Tannehill has sucked so bad.
Still looking lost. Tajay Spears coming through, making me look real smart. Enjoy that.
I would say here's how I would approach this: is if you're projected to win, then you play it safe and you go volume. You go Jerome Ford and you go Tank Dell. If you're projected to lose, then you're looking for upside, and I think you still keep Dell in there, but then I think you put Hopkins in.
I thought.
See, I believe what he's asking, and he'll correct us because I believe he's here. I believe he is not gone anywhere. I believe he's asking for 1, not 2.
Oh,
yeah, that's how I read this question because it says or, and it doesn't say pick. Normally, he'd specify.
Okay.
They would all specify pick 2. So I believe it's 1.
Gotcha. Then same logic. I would say Dell for the safe volume. I'm not projected to win. Then I think you chased upside, and I think the upside is probably with Hopkins, who could walk out of there with a 35% target share.
Oh, I thought for sure for upside you chase Davis. Dude,
Davis,
continue to score touchdowns, and
he does. He does. He would be my close second for upside pick. Is Gabe Davis? Yes.
It's just so hard to sit Dell at this point. He's being just playing out of his mind. They're still going to throw it, and he seems to be the guy who's becoming the 1A, 1B with Nico.
Yeah, I'm definitely not opposed to Tank Dell. I think would be the easier answer here as far as safe volume, reliability.
I would play Tank Dell at this point if I'm not projected to win, which you're not. Second choice would be Ford. And then third choice would probably be Gabe Davis, knowing the information that I know about not being projected to win. But Hopkins does present a certain appeal because Treylon Burks is highly questionable to even play in that game. So should see an uptick in targets. But honestly, it's not really in the same ballpark for me. I'd probably just roll the dice and go ahead and just put Tank Dell in there. Coming off back-to-back 10-target weeks in a game where I already just got done explaining that I would play CJ Stroud. If you're going to do that, the most likely recipient of said volume would be Tank Dell at this point. That's probably what I would do armed with the information that I'm not projected to win. The one fly in the ointment here with Ford is that Kareem Hunt probably not playing this game. At least it's trending that direction. He's already got the rib. He's already got a rib injury.
Love it.
It's been 2 weeks.
I mean,
that was uncalled for.
Sorry. Ford deserves this.
This is why I keep putting you in the penalty box. Not just because I enjoy it, but because you deserve it sometimes. I've had this conversation with you a million times. We don't gloat about people being injured unless it's really, really deserving.
or funny if it's
funny.
Yeah, if it's funny, you can definitely make fun if it's funny.
And that was neither. But I would lean Tank Dell in this equation.
You're saying the guy coming off the couch is hurt already?
I don't know what this means.
I'm thinking Aaron Jones, which is terrifying.
I'm assuming, but I don't know what it means. I don't know did Aaron Jones get hurt, and I'm not watching the game. I can't run this show and have the game on. You'll be watching this. You couldn't do it. I can't do it. I'm not. I can barely walk and chew gum. I can't do both of those things.
I've literally got my phone turned around because otherwise I'm gonna lose focus. So
I'll get a text message. I'll wander off. It's this is also why we don't drink and do this show except for at the end of the year because then the NSFW PG-13 rule goes far out the window. Just it's gone by the second half of the game, and then or not even the second half of the game, the second half of the show, and I just start watching football. I just default into my normal, my life in the background.
Well, this is why I was scared to do it. I mean, the whole reason I was nervous about Jones is 1, he isn't fully healthy. He hadn't logged a full practice. So there's 1. 2, the Lions are really good up front.
Look,
they have yet to
start throwing him dump off passes here in a minute. It's going to be fine. It's fine.
If he's healthy, yeah.
What are they going to do? They're going to give the ball to A.J. Dillon?
Yes, they already have.
Who I've been on record about how he's terrible and averages 2.7 yards per carry.
That's terrifying.
I don't know what you're chuckling at over there in your usual weird milieu? But okay, he's in rare form. John, he's all excited because you're here. He's in rare form. You notice how we have to do this in a specific order when we do the questions and when we do the picks? It's because you can't stop him from going first. I would go to you or I would go first, but you can't. The minute that the question is, he's already started answering it. Like you can't do this in any other order. This is from years of hard-fought experience with working with this man.
You're welcome.
Good times.
Am I?
You like it. Otherwise, you wouldn't.
Do I?
I don't know.
I tolerate it. That's for damn sure. I certainly tolerate it. Pick 3: Higgins, Puka, Kamara, Williams, Javonte Williams. Half point PPR. Welcome back, Skylar. Nice to see you as always.
So much fun, Skylar. Oh my gosh. Half?
Yeah, half.
Have to play Puka. He's just still getting too much volume to not. Probably Cooper. Then I get stuck. I think I'm going to go Williams because we just saw. Yeah, I'll probably go Williams since it's half. I know it's terrifying because you haven't really seen anything out of Williams, but it has to happen at some point. I'm going to keep betting on it.
Yeah, for me, I'm gonna go Cooper, Higgins, and Nakua in that order.
That's also what I'm gonna do. It's mostly because I don't trust Javonte Williams or the Broncos, and I'd like to see Kamara get through a game.
I'm a huge Javonte stan. Love Javonte. Loved him coming out of college. Loved the physicality of his running style. Love his explosiveness. He's still operating on a snap count, a la Breece Hall. So unless he hits pay dirt, I think we're going to be bummed. I know.
That's the only thing I have.
I know
the matchup. If it's going to happen, it has to be now.
Is great. I wish this matchup was 4 weeks later because then I'd be saying smash Javonte. But they're playing safe, which is the right thing to do. But there's not enough volume there for me to comfortably say I'm going to start him over Puka Nakua.
And get those Puka starts in before Cooper Kupp comes back, and then we have to have this whole stupid conversation about what's the split. No, I'm not looking forward to that day. That's not going to be a fun day. It's going to be really annoying, actually. I think you're going to answer the same question over and over and over and over.
I saw a thing today that said he might not be ready to rock and roll when he comes back week 5. So I don't know that we're ready for that conversation yet. Anyway,
and thank God for that, because I'm not trying to derail this show any harder than it already has been. Still working on that fart joke, gentlemen. We'll get there. PPR in flex. Pick 2. Mixon, Collins. I'm assuming that's Rachaad White. And Miles Sanders.
I was trying to think of any other whites.
I don't think there are.
Okay. That's why I was like, I think have it as Sanders. Who does they? Oh, no, I'm lost. Go ahead. I have to figure this out. I don't remember who the freaking Bucks are playing.
Okay.
I had it earlier. Saints. Probably going to go Collins and Sanders.
We're picking 2 here.
Yep.
Yes, we are picking 2 here.
See? Ha! It takes a second on some of them.
It does.
This is a good question. I like this one.
It's a legitimate question.
I'm gonna go Collins. I'm gonna go Collins and I think Rachaad White here.
Get to Saints. Okay.
Yeah, he gets volume on both sides of the ball. No one's really challenging him for his role, and Baker has actually been not too stingy when targeting the running back position this year. When he gets in trouble and the pocket collapses, he's actually done a pretty good job in that role. So I'm going to lean for that because if they get to the goal line, that's his role. I mean, he's not fighting anybody for that role, so the scoring potential is there.
Baker's also historically been very favorable when throwing to the running back position, although that does have something to do with the teams that he's played on, just generally speaking. But he is way up the tree on that. This is a difficult question because it's really hard for me to say what I'm going to say. I'm actually going to play Mixon and Sanders over White just because Mixon is Mixon. He's been rounding into form. They're giving him the workload that I've been kind of expecting expecting. He's also similar to Rashad White. He's not being challenged for his role either. He's getting the whole job, the whole kit and caboodle,
As he should.
as he likely should. And then Sanders is in a similar boat. Chuba Hubbard's not really a threat to it, but also I was impressed last week by how they sort of adjusted his usage and started increasing his targets. If they're smart, they'll do that again.
The issue now is Bryce Young is potentially back. That's what's scaring me the most on Sanders, honestly. Is that Dalton
Well,
what's
funny is I would actually remove Collins from this entirely. And it's weird in a PPR to say you're going to remove the wide receiver from a flex conversation. That's not normally how you would do that. But in this case, I think you are picking between the 3 running backs here. And if I'm being brutally honest, I don't know that you can make this decision wrong.
Yeah. I think all of them are, I mean.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
you're very.
This is almost like
good.
a humble brag with the Phillies logo and the playoffs. And, ooh, look at me. I have 3 starting running backs that most teams don't even have 1 starting running back right now because everyone's hurt. I have 3. Like, oh, Lord. All right. Well, and then as we are contractually obligated to do, there you go.
Yes.
Enjoy that lovely little update.
There you go. We are not disappointed. We talked about that earlier. We are not disappointed. There you go.
We are not disappointed. And let's keep it with running back. Jason, who's your running back start of the week?
Let's see. If
this shouldn't be hard. You wrote the article, sir.
Yeah, well, it's Zach Charbonnet versus the Giants. Well, I went deep here.
That is a deep cut.
You like it, don't you?
Are you drilling for oil?
I am.
Are you going to the Earth's crust? You're going all the way down.
Last time I checked, he was at 50. And I think that is too low.
I don't have it in front of me, but I don't doubt that.
He was absolutely trucking last week. I think the fact that his trending is going up and it's such an easy matchup, they allow him more leeway. That way Walker doesn't get hurt. And I think he finds the end zone. So I love this. I think it's a great opportunity. I think it's there. And so I went real deep with this one. I couldn't help myself. Home run swing, baby. Let's go.
That is a deep cut.
I'm going to go with Brian Robinson Jr. this week. I think here's the deal. He's had 19 rush attempts, 18 rush attempts, and then last week, and in the absolute slaughter, they still gave him 10 carries, and he managed 70 yards on 10 carries. This week, the challenge isn't as difficult for him as far as running. Like the lanes are going to be a little bit better for him in this matchup. Obviously, you don't want to test Philly through the air, but they can be beat on the ground. I think it's another, potentially 15 plus rush attempt game for him. So I like the volume. I'm going to roll with him as a start this week.
And for me, it's going to be Jaylen Warren. We continue to go back to Jaylen Warren, and we continue to beat that drum as every week he erodes Najee Harris's job a little bit more and a little bit more.
Oh, you should have seen the tweet I had about that last night.
If you've got it handy, if you can grab it, go nuts, man.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull it
up.
Yeah, my thing on
Polo, you are here every week. You know how the show goes. We are not at wide receiver. We'll get there. Although I don't disagree with you.
Oh, I found it.
That's running back. What are you talking about?
All right. Najee Harris versus Jaylen Warren. Harris has 38 total opportunities for 141 scrimmage yards and is averaging 5.9 PPR points per game. Jaylen Warren, 29 opportunities, 156 scrimmage yards, 9.2 PPR points per game. So I just tweeted that out last night.
Well, the issue with that is the fact that he will hit that hole. It doesn't matter. That's what is great for Warren. He sees it, he goes for it. Harris waits. He's Bell all over again. He's waiting for the hole and play to develop to try and find it and push through instead of just hitting what's there and hoping for the best that he can. So that's really been hurting Harris, and the fact that Tomlin's not going to get away from him until he absolutely has to.
Yeah, Tomlin's known for riding that back. Yeah.
And but John, you are spot on, sir, because Warren is just the much more efficient player of the two at this point. He looks more explosive, and if we can figure this out just by watching it, Mike Tomlin's been watching it for the better part of a year and a half now, since this whole train started. What, midway through last year, something like that?
Yeah.
Check that
Wink,
down there,
wink,
like that.
nudge, nudge. Jalen Warren will be mentioned in my DFS article that'll be up this weekend.
Oh, I bet they're still giving out quality prices on Warren because he hasn't totally eclipsed Harris yet. I bet they've got to be giving you a hometown
It looks
discount
good.
on that.
It
I bet
looks
it does. And Polo, first of all, I apologize because you're correct and I'm an idiot. That's not new information.
I do.
What I'm doing is I'm mixing up Madison and Addison because they're on the same team, and I do this more often than I care to admit. I do this
All the time.
I do that. I've done that before. Because I'm a smart man. I am wildly intelligent in that way.
The
all right,
only
well, let's
issue
do.
with that is that he's already set a starter. He's running
he's
back
being
15.
he's being sarcastic, Jason.
I absolutely love that as a guy, though.
Let's do sits then, since we're already here and you're already in it.
Yeah, you're not gonna like this. Nobody will. It's Devon Achane versus Buffalo. I think that Mostert is
high
still
enough to qualify.
I
guess he is.
That is my issue. I understand he had a great game last week. It's a little bit different. Buffalo does have a beat up defense. I just trust that Mostert's still the guy. And at this point, it's just one game, and I can't trust myself to put in Achane immediately after that massive game that he had last week, where saw a lot of work.
I did this on Tuesday. Achane for the season 0, 2, 52.
I really think it might have been a defense issue there. I don't know.
So we're doing sits.
We're doing sits.
Running back? Yeah.
Which would be in the top 24 to finish outside the top 24.
In the top 24? Oh,
yes, you're allowed to have it in the top 24.
Oh, I'm going bold then because I'm going to go with Joe Mixon. Tennessee is a stout front. I know we just talked about his volume, and correct, he is the leader of that backfield. That's not how you beat the Titans. So he's someone that I've got a little bit lower than everybody else right now. So he's someone that I'm willing to sit depending on who I've got. I mean, obviously everything comes down to who else do you have. But he's someone that I'm tempering expectations on and not paying up for in DFS. That's for sure.
Yeah, I can also imagine that in DFS, that's a pretty penny given the volume and the red zone usage and the fact that there's nobody competing for his job and the fact that running back is a tire fire already and we're 4 weeks into the season. I could see how they're going to want a lot of your weekly budget for that. So that makes a lot of sense. I certainly would co-sign that, even though I did recommend to this individual to play him. Although I am curious, how is that even possible with having 3 running backs like that you're 0-3? I would like an explanation here as far as.
And please don't say it's the start sit advice you're getting here because that's not accurate.
No, I'll take that. That's fine. That would actually be par for the course. I would take not today. Today we've classed up the joint significantly. But if you want to talk about on history and body of work, yeah, I'll take that. That's fine. I got no problem.
I'm still about
somehow the Lions are in the red zone again.
Love it.
This is nuts.
Come on, Montgomery. One more, baby. Make me look real smart.
I'm on Ross St. Brown in the end zone again in the first half, and then I'm great with it. I'm great. We're all set at that point, and then the Packers can just start throwing dump offs to Aaron Jones as their entire offense, and it'll be like Aaron Rodgers never left. It'll be the same offense that I've watched for years. And then for my sit here, it is this week is tough because you have just such a mess at running back. You know what I mean? Like there's so many, it's hard to even find 24 running backs that you want to start. So
ever.
now you're talking about taking them out of the pool in the background. But for me, it's Derrick Henry. It's not a great, I get the Cincinnati defense hasn't been, good, so to speak, here in the background. But what has me concerned about Henry is anytime they seem to be getting behind, his usage is going in the tank. So they were losing in week 1, and he only averaged 36% of the snaps. Week 2, they're winning. He's at his normal 65, 70% usual efficiency, normal Derrick Henry numbers. You get the fantasy points you're after. Last week, they're getting crushed. They're getting crushed like a tin can under a semi-truck. He's down to like 35% usage again, and they're rolling Spears out there, and they seem to really trust Spears in the passing game more. I could see a scenario where this game goes sideways and suddenly Tennessee, because their offense just can't seem to get out of their own way and just can't seem to get this train moving, they start losing. And then Henry is like we're sitting here talking about how Henry has another down week and he only got 40% of the actual available running back touches, and everybody's sitting there scratching their head. So that for me, this is what's messed up about this though, is you probably don't have a better option. So you're probably going to have to start Henry anyway, but I'm tempering my expectations for it. And what I'm hoping for, the real advice here is, I'm really hoping for one more big Derrick Henry game with a capital D, capital H, emphasis on the D. And at that point, I'm going to be knocking on doors.
Emphasis on the D was my band name in high school.
Was a D minor.
See, he doubled down on my jokes. See that?
Yeah.
There we go. I say something stupid and he jumps
synergy.
in.
It's called synergy.
See? We were meant to be together.
Yeah.
I think that game is going to happen November 19th versus the Jaguars.
Could be. Could do. Division games can be weird in that way. Wait.
What?
That's not a question.
How?
Straight cash, homie, you do this to me all the time. That is not a question. Oh, I see what he's doing. This is a callback to something we were doing on Thursday, which is going to be Tuesday, which is going to be hugely confusing for John. We were talking about who would be the MVPs at this point, and I was making the argument / kind of joke. Well, there's 3 MVPs. It's it's Pollard, it's Bijan, and it's Christian McCaffrey, because that's the healthy running backs. That's the MVPs. There you go.
Okay, at least now it makes sense. I'm like,
it does.
What's going on here?
It's my own conversation that I was having 2 days ago, and I literally can't do it.
Yeah, so on Tuesdays we have a guillotine show that
I need my UGG boots. We do have a guillotine show that I do with our colleague Lance Exley. It's all guillotine focused, and that was something we were talking about as it relates to guillotine strategy and people getting chopped. And I love that format, by the way. It's so much fun to
it is
try
a hoot. Yes, it's a ride to try to piece together. So yeah, dumpster diving as a fake sport. It's good stuff.
It is, and I have this whole strategy where it's like, no, you don't spend any more than like $75 in any 1 week, because what you want to do is you want to save up all that money for basically like the last couple waiver runs. So you have this huge wad, and as the good teams get eliminated, you just go loot the waiver wire, and you just turn your roster.
Name. It's huge. Sorry.
This is going good.
John does fit right into the show, Polo. It's like he's always been here. It's like he's always been here.
Hey, I'm trying.
We are the most. As I tell people, we are the most childish show. I don't know that there's anybody more childish than us. It's if you want dick and fart jokes and fantasy football advice and a bunch of inappropriate commentary about strip clubs and dispensaries, this is the show for you.
Whoa. Meg also our movie. Really random movies involved.
Oh, that's true. Weird movie advice. That's really, really terrible. Let's see here.
It is getting close to October though. So if you haven't already, watch Till Death.
This would make sense, by the way. You're just the unlucky person. You're just the unlucky person that
has
just got lit up 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
All right. Allow me to offer some advice to you, KM. League median scoring. So I had this happen 1 year in my home league, which is a very competitive league that's been going on for a long time. And there was one particular year where I could beat anybody in the league any given week except the person I was playing. So we implemented league median scoring, and life is good. If you're not familiar with that, top 6 teams in points get an extra win. Bottom 6 teams in points get an extra loss. You can potentially go 2-0, 1-1, or 0-2 on any given week. It helps neutralize this luck factor that you're facing right now. So bring that up next year before your league renews. See if you can get them on board with league median. It makes it a lot of fun.
I have played in a league like that, and it's a blast because it does smooth out the rough edges, and it takes some of the luck, the just bold-faced luck, out of the equation a little bit.
I think Scott Fishbowl this year uses league median scoring. I think they used it last year too, but I know they're using it this year. So it's a lot of fun. It helps neutralize the luck factor. It's really good.
Yeah, that is excellent advice, which is spot on here. So Cam, see if they'll put that in, because it's as fun as it sounds, because you can definitely make some make some hay, and it also really you can rub it in when people go 0-2. Because that's really like that genuinely feels bad. At that, it feels bad enough going 0-1, but going 0-2, it genuinely hurts. Like it's like
when
I
you're
couldn't
3 weeks in and you're 6-0, it is awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
Oh
yeah, get definitely bring it up. At least have a conversation about it.
It's definitely worth doing that. Some people who are more traditional don't like it because they're like, I like the luck and I like playing with kicker and I like playing with defense. And my usual comeback to that is you may like that, but I don't like playing with you. So I guess I'll go play somewhere else.
I thought for sure you were gonna say play with myself.
I get annoyed by that.
How many
I'm
points?
trying to work a little bit above blue. I mean, it did occur to me like Jason's just working in the Jason needs like
I'm very gray right now. You know, the black.
Jason's doing like
white,
Shecky Green from like 1970. You need like a suit and like a microphone with a long cord that you can you can like whip.
Do
like
the whip thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
The bouncing
ridiculous.
thing
Like
with it, yeah.
are you doing like Andrew Dice Clay? Like, look, I'm waiting for like Little Miss Moffat sat on a topic.
I did not have Andrew Dice Clay references on my bingo card for the show this evening, so
I'm old and I like old comedy, so there is that. You do run into that when I'm here. We have an actual question. I know that like heaven forbid that we actually maybe talk to the audience. But
that's not necessary.
You're not necessary.
Yeah, I'm going to just go ahead and jump in here, and I'm going to say I would take that deal for the simple fact that I trust Michael Thomas not at all. I was going to think of something clever, and nothing immediately came to me, so I just scooted right past it. I don't trust Michael Thomas to stay healthy. When he's healthy, he's great. DK Metcalf,
you know what, John, I'll do the joke for you. I was going to say I trust Michael Thomas about as much as I trust my mom at a buffet. Oh,
there we go. We got it. You know what? I missed the opportunity. I'm going to backtrack. I'm going to mulligan this thing. All right. I trust Michael Thomas the same way I trust a fart after White Castle. And now we've got our fart joke. See?
We did it. All right. We got there.
We did it, guys.
We got there.
So yeah, in all seriousness, having a high level handcuff like Tyler Algier, that's not just a handcuff that gets to operate in the game and still gets meaningful carries, will have his weeks, and then get DK Metcalf, who I trust to stay healthier for the duration more than I do Michael Thomas. So in that regard, I'm going to take the sure thing with Metcalf there, and the flex appeal at least from Tyler Algier versus a potentially future injured Michael Thomas.
It really depends on your team. That's where I'm getting stuck, because it's hard to give up Walker, who is clearly playing so well right now.
I mean, we just got done talking about how he's getting his snap share eroded into.
I understand that, but I understand why he's doing it, but such a massive downgrade from Walker to Algier, even in that less role.
Right, but when you look at the big picture, like, try to simplify trades, right? Especially when there's multiple players involved. Try to simplify. Which player is the best player in this deal? DK Metcalf.
Probably, yeah.
So you kind of immediately...
It would help me to know. I'm going to assume PPR because I do that.
Right, I assume PPR as well, and that was in my head. I was assuming PPR, so I'll agree with that.
If we're assuming PPR, I agree with that statement. DK Metcalf is the best player in the deal, and it's comparable, I guess, between Ken Walker. I don't want to say it's not even close. No, I'm not going to do that, but it definitely would be DK Metcalf would be the most overall piece, the most valuable overall piece on the chessboard.
Yeah,
I would take it, honestly, because what I would likely do is I would amass DK, get rid of Ken Walker, and if I didn't need Algier for whatever reason, I don't necessarily need to do this right away. I could do it later. I'm going to go knock on the guy who has Bijan Robinson's door and then snake something off his roster and then bolt that onto my team. And then I'm stronger for doing it. You see what I'm saying? So it's not one deal. You look at it as a sequential series of deals. I get better because I add DK Metcalf, which is the most valuable piece that's on the table here. Then I recoup my downgrade from Ken Walker to Algier by making a sequential deal, and then we So it's not you don't look at it as the drop from Ken Walker all the way to Algier. It's Ken Walker to whatever I get in return for flipping Algier. That's what I would do. So I know you don't want to. I used to write an article called "In a Vacuum," and that was the whole premise of it. Was that people like to evaluate things standalone in a vacuum, and that's not how you should do it. You need to evaluate it on a continuum. Like that's the way you want to look at it. Is think about what you can do after the fact. And then breaking news: second touchdown for Montgomery.
Yes!
There it is. Jordan Love throws an interception.
King.
Current update. There you go. The boy, that's a disaster for the Packers. That's a mess. It's also a disaster for me playing golf because now they're not going to throw it anymore. But whatever, I don't really care. That's fine. We'll do it live.
Jordan Love, 1 for 6, -6 yards.
Jordan Love take is not
Wow.
aging well rapidly. It's aging like
No
milk.
joke.
1 to 6 for the pick. That is brutal. But yeah, let us know, Cam. Let us know what they say. And then PPR, and then Lifted, you're very welcome.
Well, the other thing you can do, Lifted, is also join our Discord.
Yes,
I'll plug it here
that.
now.
You could in fact do that. You could in fact do that if that was something that you were so inclined to do.
And they do this all day.
The link is in the show notes, by the way. And this is what we do all day, whether anybody likes it or not. Some people pay for it, believe it or not. All right, one more question, and then Jason, we're going to do wide receiver start of the week here.
All right.
I actually don't think Chris. I think Chris is new to us in the background here.
Yeah, this is.
I
think it's
pick 2.
I think it's Chicago sports fan though.
It could be.
How do you like that?
It could be. My reading skills have been piss poor so far tonight. So, like,
I am going to bench Mixon. At least in PPR. I think that Williams just, again, the matchup is there. He's been seeing a lot of actual passes. Granted, he didn't catch any really last week, which hurt him. But he did see a lot of volume in the passing game. He's still a big part of that. And then it's just so hard to sit Mostert. Just because I still think he's the lead back, and that offense is going to have to mix it up, even with Waddle back. That's the other issue I had with A-Chain, is that I'm curious how much of that was also the fact that Waddle was out due to concussion. So
PPR, that was confirmed here in the background.
thank you.
Yeah, I would say I'm leaning to, I'm going strictly off my rankings here, and I currently have Raheem Mostert as RB7, Kyron Williams as RB8, and Mixon down at RB11. So right there, I'm kind of with Jason here. I'm going to sit Mixon in this matchup, and I'm gonna lean on who's been getting the work done for me. So
and I'll go off my flex rankings here. So I've got Kyron Williams at 19 in my flex rankings. I have Mostert at 27 in my flex rankings. And then I have Mixon last, down at like 32, 33. So we agree. Mixon is the odd man out in this equation. That's going to be the way that goes.
he's going to go off.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh yeah, that's how that works every time.
That's 100% going to happen. Green Bay with another.
I've been saying that about Kelly too, and that has yet to happen. So
yeah, well,
Herbert's not looking for him.
It's because Kelly's not actually like good.
Well, no, Herbert's not passing to him. That hurts.
It also.
He's been fine.
I've had this argument like a million times with you, and we're never going to agree on it. So I'm just going to move on. What we're going to do is we're going to
talk to the wall than talk about Kelly right now.
I would too.
I would Jason, too.
We've had this conversation. I've had this conversation with him for years, and it doesn't. He doesn't
so good this year though.
Go well.
Until he looked like Joshua Kelly.
Until he looked like Joshua Kelly and actually had to do the whole job, and then he wasn't seeing soft boxes because they know that they can stack the line on him, and he's not going to be able to do anything about it. And they don't trust him to catch the ball well enough to actually throw it to him. Like,
I think in an article one time I said he had the agility of a tugboat.
Yes, that is very accurate. He looks like a fat kid in a snowsuit, is my analogy.
He looked so fast week 1.
I don't care.
It was blowing me away.
He looks like the kid from A Christmas Story, who falls down and can't get up. Like, that's what he looks like. It's horrible. And I said looks like, not is. So you can't get me for slander, Josh Kelly's attorney. I know I said we'd go to wide receiver, but we just had another question come in. And straight cash, homie pays the bills around here. So we take his questions as they come.
Every time. Okay, let's see. Pick 3, PPR. So it's going to be Connor, Moss, and Ford. Not risking Saquon. Not going to do it. Not going to do it.
No, here's the thing about Saquon. If you want my honest opinion, I think they're playing games with Saquon. That's a high ankle sprain. Yeah. I know it's not confirmed so
he said it was. He himself said it was a high ankle sprain.
Yeah, and I've had other medical professionals and physical therapists in on Twitter confirm that it has all the appearances of a high ankle sprain. I think they're logging these limited practices so teams are scheming for Saquon. I think it's subterfuge. I'm not trusting Saquon. I do not believe he gets out there this week. So he's off the table. I think this is one of the last weeks you can comfortably roll Moss out in a volume capacity, which he has been nothing short of stellar at. So let's talk volume. Let's go Connor, Moss, and I'm actually going to go with Brian Robinson there because the aforementioned volume that I mentioned he had. I think Ford has the better upside, but Robinson is going to get his carries.
That's fair.
It is interesting with the whole thing with Saquon is interesting because we actually friend of the show, Dr. Edwin Porras.
I know Edwin.
What's going on? Yeah, he's been on with us. He's been on. He's great people. And he's been on with us many times. Back when his schedule was less hectic, he would come on here and be our doctor. And I love having him on because I will make this joke until I'm graying in a nursing home in America. How often can I have I can just have a talk to a doctor and ask any question I want for as long as I want. I should be getting. Right. He should be sending me a bill. Like it's. I would just have him on.
He's great. I've followed along with him for a long time. He's good people. I like it. I like it.
He is an amazing follow on Twitter at FB Injury Doc, and then also if you're a member of our Discord, we actually have a whole separate section just for him because he's. I trust his opinion. Well, I trust his opinion as much as I trust my actual doctor. So it's one of those situations. And he's been saying the same thing where it's like, if it looks, I'm paraphrasing, but if it looks like a duck, and it quacks like a duck, and it limps like a duck with a high ankle sprain, it's probably a high ankle sprain. Like that's the way that goes. I agree with Moss. I agree with Connor. I don't see how you're going to bench Connor at this point, just based on pure volume. I do have a question for Zach Moss. Where was this in Buffalo? Like
it was buried behind less than 15 carries a game. That's
where was this? I want this.
He needs volume. That's why.
Yeah.
And I think Minshew actually helped him last week, to be honest.
Probably. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And that's the one nerve-wracking thing about this week is Richardson is more likely to lean less on that. So
take it himself.
Yeah.
I hate it. It makes me so sour because I wanted Minshew so bad to start the year.
Hey, as somebody who's got a million Michael Pittman shares, I was fine with that. You wanna go ahead and just put Minshew out there to get all the points for me? I'm fine with it. We'll do that. Like, Moss, Connor, Ford. It's really close between Ford and Brian Robinson. I would not blame you if you wanted to play Robinson.
I don't fault anybody for going Ford here. I mean,
I would not fault anybody for going Ford or Robinson. I don't know.
It's the PPR that pushes it over the edge.
Don't know that you can really make that decision wrong. Like it's one of those things. And Polo, I appreciate this joke. This is a high level joke. All right, Jason, I've teased it twice and we keep getting derailed because that's what we do here. Let's do it. What's your wide receiver start of the week?
You're going to love it. It's Marvin Mims. He's playing Chicago. It's going to take one and he can find a touchdown.
I disagree.
In standard, he's currently wide receiver 12, which I know it's standard, but PPR, he's also wide receiver 33 on the year. So I think that long play is going to be available against a bad Chicago secondary. So only takes one, and he isn't seeing a whole lot, even though for some reason they still are playing Brandon Johnson more than him. So there's my frustration. Sorry, I had to get that out there.
Longer.
I keep hoping because he's still widely available.
What rank are we
36.
going? 36. So I
Yeah,
pick
that's
anybody outside that
outside.
36.
Correct.
Oh yeah, I dig this. This is fun.
It's fun, huh?
It is fun.
The
It is
outside's
fun.
the easy part. It's the inside that you're like, oh, where can I?
Yeah,
particularly wide receiver.
yeah. This is okay. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. So this is not strictly a homer thing. I know it's gonna.
If you say
appear
Josh
that way.
Palmer, we're just going to make this real
Nick.
fast because that's where I'm going here in about the next 0.2 seconds. Like,
So no, I was gonna go Quentin Johnston.
Okay.
Wow.
I
Okay,
believe.
all right,
Yeah,
we'll-
I believe the role. Here's the thing: Palmer is and I've talked about him on many shows before, and I love the man.
No Parham.
Don't get me started.
this is the other fight that we have, John, every week, where Jason insists on talking about Donald Parham, and then I do this. And then that's what happens, like in the background.
Okay. My goodness. Anyway, Quentin Johnston. So they've kept the snaps low. They're getting him involved. Here, he's a better fit for the Mike Williams role than Josh Palmer is. And I like Palmer. Palmer's a jack of all trades, master of none. He can play all three spots. Okay, good, not great. So Quentin Johnston, this is where he excels. This is the role in which he was meant to join this team. He's not going to enter the slot. He's not going to do a lot of the short to intermediate stuff. He's going to get the ball in space or shoot it downfield. And I think that role fits well with Herbert. I think he's someone that should be in lineups as that home run threat this week.
I get that, but Palmer's definitely a safer play there.
Oh,
Yeah,
safer, absolutely. Safer, absolutely. I'll agree with
I'll do
that.
the Palmer thing just quickly, which
Love
it's not complicated. We've seen this movie before. Like one of them goes down, Palmer moves in. You kind of put it perfectly. He's jack of all trades, master of none. You saw what happened in the game last week where Mike Williams goes down and then suddenly Palmer just starts rocketing. He's just off like a rocket. Herbert, trust him. He's a great fit for the offense just generally. He's a great guy for you guys to have on your team because you can just move him around.
He's reliable and productive, yes.
Yeah, I feel that it's just on volume alone. And we could talk about scheme fit, blah, 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 blah. I'm just talking about on pure volume and targets. He's a candidate to easily finish in the top 36 for me. And is somebody that I was saying he was my number one. Well, he was my number one wide receiver pickup earlier this week, where pretty comfortably. And since we've done two Chargers, I'll do a freebie. I'll do a freebie.
Stick
here,
in the AFC West so far, though.
Yeah,
so
right. It is weird that we did do all AFC West. It normally doesn't go that way. I'll do one more. Just as like a freebie. Jordan Addison. Jordan Addison is primed to explode. His if you look at points per target, just purely points per target, like average target, he's at like 2.5.
Yeah.
He is locked and loaded. He's gonna get shot out of a cannon at some point here, and he's still trending outside the top 36. And he's playing Carolina this week. Feel like this is a mistake. Feel like he should be in more lineups and is definitely somebody that I will continue to hype until eventually this becomes untenable anymore, because he's going to be firmly in the top part of wide receiver 3, bottom end of wide receiver 2 by the time we're done.
Waiting for Osborne to disappear.
Yes, that's kind of what I'm waiting for. Was as Osborne transitions out of any kind of relevancy and it just becomes the Justin Jefferson and Addison show over there. And it really helps that the Vikings are bad at running the ball, last week notwithstanding, and that was a fluke. Have a terrible defense. And if they're going to do anything, they're just going to need to throw it a million times. And we saw that last year, and this year is no different. Nothing has changed. And that is the scientific term million D. That is how we qualify that. Soaring Eagle 175, always a hit with the crowd. In Dynasty, ooh, too much now.
Yeah,
a lot more than I want to pay.
I think it's going to go down if you wait a couple weeks.
I would agree. The rule of Dynasty operates the same as stock market, and I do a lot of work with Dynasty for DLF. So I would tell you that now is not the time to try to invest, because you don't buy when the stock is high, you buy when the stock is low, and you sell when the stock is
top of the
high.
market.
So yeah, now is not the time to be pushing all your chips into that particular corner. So I would tell you the best thing you can do is wait. And if you've got a young player that skyrockets in a similar manner, then try to work something out. But now is not the time to try to buy.
If you like fun follows on Twitter, I brought this up on Tuesday, at FantasyCalc1 does a lot of really awesome dynasty analysis on Twitter. And he had an awesome graph that shows the heat map of how running back in dynasty rankings is moving. A-Chain, who I believe he pronounces his name to be pronounced, he prefers his name to be pronounced A-Chan.
Yeah.
But, and that's going to take me at least a couple weeks.
It's going to take me a while
Jackie.
too. Yes,
it's going to
obviously.
take me a minute. Also, because I, if it was me, I'd probably just prefer to be called A-Chain, but I get it. If it's not your name, it's not your name. He went from Dynasty RB 36 to Dynasty RB 12 in a week. That's not sustainable. I'm no mathematician, but I also play. I do financial analytics and things like that for various reasons. I can tell you right now, that is not sustainable. That's not a thing. If you were lucky enough to ride that elevator up, I would actually be going the other way. I would be trying to look at what could I get for A-Chain, Mr. A-Chan, at the top of what I think might very well literally be the top of his value. What would need to happen, in your guys' opinion, for him to maintain Dynasty RB12?
He would need to take over that backfield. And I don't think that's
I
happening.
feel like multiple people would be like need to not be playing in Miami.
Well, Mostert and Wilson are both very injury prone. I know that's not a thing, but like they do get hurt.
Thank you for correcting me, because I will get Edwin on the show.
I know, but
I will chop this and send it to him, and he will mock you on Twitter.
They do have the issue with soft tissue constantly. As a football player and as a running back, you have that explosive ability. Both of these guys do that. And at this point, we haven't seen A-Chan do that. Like, he hasn't shown that he is going to hurt himself because he's so explosive and very fast. Wilson and Mostert. Wilson clearly has already missed for first 4 weeks. And Mostert is on his way. That's the issue. I can't bring myself to do it. So
yeah, the time to invest was before he broke out, not after.
That 100%.
So wait until Wilson goes back. I'm sure that'll drop down since his usage will be weird.
Yeah, let's do sit of the week at wide receiver, Jason.
With Bryce Young coming back, I'm going to sit Adam Thielen versus the Vikings. I get it. Revenge game's there. Absolutely love that.
This is slightly cheating because he's questionable now, but I'm going to allow it.
Did not realize that, but the fact that
news just came out this afternoon, so that's why I'm not going to fault you for not seeing that particular lovely little news update at about 4:00 in the afternoon.
I love the revenge game narrative. I love that for him. I just wish it was with Dalton and not Young. Because I don't know how Young is going to go. I don't know. That offense scares me in general. The only person I really trust is Sanders. So,
yeah, I'm going to go, and this is kind of a multifaceted sit. I'm going to go with Zay Flowers, who's currently,
interesting.
I like the volume.
This is legitimately interesting.
Yeah, I like the volume. He's been really, really good there, and I know that his name just flew right out of my face. The other wide receiver there.
Bateman, dealing with injury.
Thank you, Bateman. And I know that he's dealing with some injury issues too. So there's going to be like fewer competition for targets, but I don't like the matchup. I don't like a quarterback that threw for 99 yards last week facing off against this Cleveland defense. And in that regard, I'm definitely downgrading the pass catchers in this offense, not named Mark Andrews. And so Zay Flowers is someone I'm more willing to look somewhere else for this week. I still love Zay Flowers. I think he's going to be great. I do not like this matchup at all.
Yeah, and for me, it's going to be Jacoby Myers. And I realized that, cute story, nice, and he's been very efficient. So I can't really argue about that. But, well, they're playing the Chargers. Which is not a great matchup in reality.
Derwin James potentially out though. He's popped up on the injury, which makes me nervous for.
Kind of where I'm going here is I'm actually projecting big game for Devontae Adams here. That's and I think he just sucks all the air out of the balloon as it relates to Myers. And Myers has crept up into like wide receiver 2 territory as far as the ECR goes. So I get it. I understand why. I understand how we got here, but I'm gonna pump the brakes a little bit as it relates to this game, and I'm gonna look elsewhere. Because I assume if you're in the Myers situation, you probably have other options because there's no way you drafted him to be like an every week starter. I mean, unless you're some sort of Raiders fan. And if you're a Raiders fan, why are you watching this show? Between all the Broncos fans and Chargers fans that run this show in the background, we never have anything nice to say about you. I don't understand how you're here.
There's no other wide receiver that have seen above 5 targets on the Raiders outside of Myers and
Hunter Renfrow is probably going to get traded if anybody wants it. Well, that's probably where we wind up here, right?
No, when you want to trade someone, you try to showcase them, not doghouse them.
That's a good point, actually. It's a good point. I didn't think about that. In that regard, yeah, you probably would try to do that. Soaring Eagle, I think, missed part of the show here. Want to recap it for him, boys?
Yeah, I mean it or go watch the waiver show. Either way, it's Palmer, especially for short term. He will be the one who sees it. I really think they're going to take time for Quentin Johnson to develop and get more of the role that he needs to fill for Mike Williams being out. So,
yeah, with Johnston, you're just going to have to be the patient, play patient game. Palmer is going to step in and immediately do what he did last year when players ahead of him were injured. He's your short-term answer, but don't give up on QJ just yet. He's not done. He hasn't even started.
Yeah. Talent's definitely there.
Yeah. And with that, gentlemen, I need to be on my way. I've got kids.
I was actually going to say, John, I appreciate you sticking it out for as long as you did, my friend. We were actually about to break the show here anyway, but this has been a blast, my friend. I've genuinely enjoyed meeting you and having you on here. You fit right in, which is weird. It's like you've always been here. It's like you've never not been here in a weird way.
If you ever want to come back, all you have to do is ask.
Well, the door's always open.
Yeah.
Door's always open. That. I'll bump other people that are less fun than you. Honestly, I'll bump them.
It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. So to get to come and hang out and just be buffoons about this fake game we love so much. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I appreciate you guys inviting me on. Thanks for reaching out to me, Jason. It's been an absolute riot. I've loved it.
Thank you, sir. The door is always open, and everybody follow at John Hesterman everywhere that usernames exist. You won't be disappointed. And like I said, man, door's always open. And the increment, don't worry, the negatives will be destroyed as per our agreement in the background. Those photos will never see the light of day. And,
fantastic. That's good to know.
And find his DFS article for the weekend.
Despite the fact that I own a website called importantnonsense.com, I am a man of integrity. Against all odds, those negatives will be destroyed.
Good. That's good for me, and that's good for the sheep who were involved. So yeah, we'll be.
Take it easy, John.
Anyway,
it's been a pleasure.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Guys.
Thank you very much. Oh, well, that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, glad he could make it. That's for sure.
We're gonna do one more thing. Hold on, Polo. We have one more segment to do, and I'd be remiss if we didn't do. Jason won't forgive me. He'll complain at me in the background if we don't do his favorite segment of the week. Jason, who's your tight end start of the week?
It's Jake Ferguson versus the Patriots.
All right, that was easy. All right, no analysis needed. Okay. He leads the league, or was, in end zone targets. Okay, we're done. We did that.
I don't think that changed, but yeah.
I don't think it did either, which is hilarious.
He's gonna find it. I swear. At some point, he's going to find the end zone. It
is genuinely hilarious, and I don't understand how he's not being started over Kyle Pitts at this point, which is my actual only note. That is my only note. I have no other notes. So it's if you want something that's not Ferguson, I'm not giving up on Zach Ertz. It's too early to give up on Zach Ertz.
Still saw a decent amount of targets last week.
Just bad week. He saw the targets. I still believe in Zach Ertz. But it's funny because those are the two that I had. It's Ferguson and it's Ertz. And then everything else is like really ugly and you don't want any part of it. and we're back to guessing. If you had to put a gun to my head for a third name, it would be Hayden Hurst, especially if Thielen ends up not playing that game.
Yeah,
then it's Hayden Hurst.
Sure.
We have a different conversation. No, I would not do that. I would not. I get the temptation. I understand the question. I literally have them one spot in my rankings.
Yeah, that's real close. I don't know.
It's hard.
Man.
It's hard.
I probably will.
Okay.
I really think he's going to find the end zone this week. I think it happens.
It's very, that's all he does. It's like his only job that he really has. Okay, that was start. Who's your sit of the week? To the extent that you could even do this.
Well, I'm going off of just pure spite at this point.
Oh, okay. This is just hate-filled?
Yeah, it's Darren Waller. He has yet to produce anything. I'm so mad. He had so many opportunities last week.
And
nothing.
Is spite-filled. It's
nothing.
Super spite-filled. That is so spite-filled.
Even against the Seahawks. Like
it's so spite-filled.
It should have.
And he looked terrible. He also looked terrible, which was super fun to watch. He looked horrible. I'm not going to go Waller because I knew he was going to go Waller. And I what's funny is, Jason, I didn't even read the show notes that you sent me today. I didn't have time. I was at work all day. I didn't have time to read the show notes. I've been winging it to take everyone behind the curtain away. I've been winging it since I sat down. And this has been our best show of the year. No, this has been our best. This is John Fireman carried. Like it's like the end of The Bodyguard. It's literally like they should have been playing that music, like, and that's been playing since we started this. I'll do one that I think is a little more shocking. It's Dallas Goedert. That matchup against the Commanders is really poor for tight end. The Commanders take last week out a little bit. Like, take that out. They got blitzed by a really good team. Like, take that off the table for a second. Throw that out. They have been brutal against opposing tight ends so far this year. I realize small sample, even smaller when you take the one game out. But in a world where it's a crowded room with the Eagles, as we know, I'm not expecting a big game from Goddard. What's fun is you probably don't have a better option. That's what's fun about this lovely little conversation.
You know what's funny? I dropped Goddard for Laporta.
Oh, God. I don't know that I could have brought myself to do that because I probably could have tried to trade Goddard for something if I was going to do that. What is it, like a 16 league? Like,
nope,
who's in that
12.
league?
I also hoard tight ends in this league because I have Andrews.
I play fantasy football with you in multiple leagues. I know how you operate. Here's a fun thing when you actually play with fantasy against Jason. You'll never get any waiver wire tight ends because he has like 4 of them. Yes. Especially in leagues like some of the ones we play in where you have like a practice squad and like deep benches, like where you have like a 10, 12 team, like or positional bench. Jason's holding like 5 tight ends just so that nobody else can have any. And I literally think he gets sexual gratification from it. I think it arouses him in a weird way. Like, that's fine. Everybody's got their kink. I'm not here to kink shame. I'm just saying, like, I think that's what it is. Like, it's I've seen too far into the veneer of your mind, Jason, over the years. I think I know, like, I think I see how the cogs turn a little bit, and it's scary. There's a lot of Mountain Dew in there sloshing around from side to side too. It's what's fun is, Polo, that we're actually, like, it's fun. We're actually on track to wrap up, like, pretty much right at the 2-minute warning here. So I did notice this in the background. Usually we make it a point to wrap it up by
I really need Laporte to get one more catch.
Well, that'll probably happen. There's 40 seconds to go in the first half, and
because I think that finishes my parlay for the day.
You already got it. Laporta 4 for 56 in the first half.
I know, but it needs to be over 4. I don't think
it's over 4. Okay, well, I think you'll get there.
I'm hoping.
And then, yes, I did see this literally seconds ago from Schefter. Luke Musgrave, that's probably going to be his day, I would imagine. They're getting the I almost said the word I told him not to say.
Why?
I almost said they're getting the stuffing beaten out of them in the background. That is legitimately what's going on. This has gone as bad as it could go for the Packers Love is looking at like that take is aging like milk. 4 for 10 for 30 yards and a pick in the first half.
Yeah, that's not good. I
You
was
don't like
nervous
that.
about it, man.
And what's messed up is I don't even know that Detroit's going to take the foot off the gas in the third quarter because this is a division game and they're going to want to win it.
Yeah. Well, and they
They-
played Rogers. They want to prove a point now.
And there it is. So that's there you go. So 30 seconds to go before halftime, folks. I have a feeling that this is just going to be a kick and a kneel down for the Packers. Maybe they'll go out and do one more possession, but
Yeah. So if I can get one more target from Laporta and
catch,
a touchdown.
not target.
Oh, I guess that's true. Dang it. And one touchdown from Dobbs will be fine.
Dobbs is the only one who's done. Dobbs has like all the receiving in this game, but no touchdown, obviously, because the Packers don't have a touchdown. But we're gonna wrap it there, guys.
Thanks so much.
Check us out for the Sunday show, which now actually has a name. We're calling it the Final Countdown.
Oh, how fitting.
Because we are so creative. We are the most creative people as far as content creators on the internet. We are the top of the tree. So we are calling that show now the Final Countdown. We're working on branding for it, Jason. Steve just made that decision in the background because neither you nor I could make a decision. So he made it for us, and I didn't feel the need to argue with him because it's very fitting. That's literally how that show has started to proceed. That's what we're doing. Is just kind of counting it down for the last hour. Check that out. People really seem to like it. And get your last minute questions answered live on the internet by Jason as I sit in the background and direct traffic because, well, it's mostly as I intentionally try to derail you. I told people on Tuesday, if you really want to get on the show, like for the most part, you'll get on. But if you really want to get on the show, if you can make me laugh, you go to the front of the line. And if you can make Jason blush, I'll put you to the front of the line. If you can make Jason turn bright red or purple, I will put your question to the front of the line. So if you can make it weirdly sexual, that's kind of what I'm looking for. Like if you can make it weirdly, that was the highlight. If you can make it weirdly perverted, I'll put you to the front of the line. Like you're
not over the top, but it has to be.
No. It has to be
tasteful.
That edge.
It has to
be tasteful. It has to be somewhat tasteful. Like it has to be somewhat tasteful. But there's an art to this. But if you can make me laugh, or if you can make Jason blush, you'll go first. I promise you. It's gonna happen. Like that's literally how I've been directing the chat in the background. And y'all can't stop me. You can't stop me from doing it. Because you don't want to know why? Because there's nobody else who's willing to do this job. That's
Nobody else wants to.
I hold all the cards. I've been given way too much power. And that's how it goes. So that show is now called The Final Countdown. Tune in tomorrow for Mason and Vishal for Locked In, as always. Get all your degenerate gambling takes on Friday. Check it out. It's lovely. Tune in for The Final Countdown on Sunday and get your last-minute lineup questions answered and whatever other nonsense we can pack into that hour. And that is a hard hour. And that's an intentional joke. That innuendo is firmly there. Get it? Firmly? I could do this all day. The jokes write themselves. It's so easy. Oh, man. I need dinner. I need to go eat dinner and get ready for the second half of this so-called football game. The Amazon. Could you imagine spending $7 billion to broadcast this on Thursday nights? Because I certainly couldn't. I'd want my money back. I'd want my money back for a lot of this, but, they're there to advertise Fresh and Amazon Prime, so it is what it is. Although I love having you here because you laugh at my stupid jokes. It's amazing. It's
missed you Sunday though, Polo.
No, he was lingering in the background. The problem is that it was so freaking busy that I didn't have time to last Sunday was nuts. It started the first 5 minutes of that were slow, and then it was like we got hit by a battering ram after that. Like it was a huge mess in the background.
Still fun though.
It was super fun. And that's why we continue to do that show. So it's as long as people keep showing up, it's something we're gonna do. But check out our upcoming shows. Sign up as always to follow us on our Discord. Ask your questions in real time. Get your answers in real time. And Links in the description. ImportantNonsense.com. Sign up to become a member. It's been a blast. And don't I know it, man? It was like I was really struggling to like keep the questions like in order. And then sometimes people ask Jason a question that like it like short circuits his brain, and I'm like pinging him on the side like faster, faster. You gotta go faster. Like we're not going fast enough. Like don't look, just guess. Like just go, 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 go. Like I got 13 people that all want like their thing. Like let's go. Like and then 5 minutes before kickoff, it dries up. It's hilarious to watch how that. You would
Well,
think
that's
it would,
normally when I set my lineup. I have that 5 minutes.
but it does. 5 minutes, it just dies. Like it just stops. And like that's why I was saying to you like 5 minutes before on Sunday, I was like, Jason, we're done. We're done. I'm leaving. Like I want to go. I gotta go. Like we're done. And we were running out of questions anyway. Like we're done. We're done. We did it. We held up our end contractually. We're good. Like we're all set. Nobody can say that we didn't do our jobs. Like it's but I appreciate the time and effort and energy as always, guys. It's been a blast. And then follow at John_Fetterman. First appearance in what I hope will be many, because like I said, I wasn't kidding. It's like he's always been here.
Yeah, he
it's
fit
like
right in. It was awesome.
It's like he's never not been here.
Well,
it was weird how smooth that transition was.
That connection happened a long time ago because he would come into FLA.
Oh yeah.
How about them apples? Yeah. That's a callback.
Yeah, but even the FLA thing doesn't work the same way. I've worked that with you before too. It doesn't work the same way because it's a lot more short form and it's just answer the question, move on. This is us in full bloom of our idiotic personalities that somehow people tolerate and occasionally pay for, which is still fascinating to me. My own parents won't pay for this. I can get other people to pay for it. My mom is like, nah, I'm good. My mom was like, I could get that for free, man. I'm not paying you for that. Like you're already like, I already have to like mute you. Like, I don't need you. Like anyway, enjoy the second half, gentlemen. Enjoy it all. And 3 to 4% beautiful ladies, according to Twitter analytics, or I'm sorry, YouTube analytics. It is. That's real, by the way. That's not even a joke. Like
very small.
No, but they're there. But they're there. They're there on Sundays asking questions. We always have ladies on Sundays. They will not show up to this sausage festival on Thursday night. Absolutely will not come to that.
Because you're only asking about really Thursday night.
Well, they won't. They will not show up to the sausage party that is Thursday night. But they do show up on Sunday, which I always find
sausage. I don't know.
Just to get and then they get their questions and they leave because they do not want to deal with us. Like,
see ya.
Thank you, Polo. And until then, keep up the nonsense.